What's going on, everybody? Welcome into Kingdom Hearts, our part 2 of the series. It's our Guiding Key podcast. On this podcast, we actually have a new guest. His name is Ace. He goes by Ace. He has a YouTube channel. You know, we've gone over kind of how we got into Kingdom Hearts and our lore knowledge and how we came to that. And I just wanted to throw it over to you, Ace, if you wanted to tell us a little bit about how you got into Kingdom Hearts, maybe like your first experience with it, and what brings you to like still be involved with Kingdom Hearts now.
All right. Well, my big thing with Kingdom Hearts was just I had watched Advent Children as a child, and I was like, wow, blonde-haired McSwords boy here is the best thing ever. Didn't actually play Final Fantasy VII until like 5 years later, and at that point, my friends at my local daycare, because I was in 5th grade, were mentioning like Kingdom Hearts and how they're like, oh man, I love Cloud, I love Sephiroth. I'm like, excuse me? That's the funny Disney game with Keyboy. There's no Cloud or Sephiroth in there. Got into that. Not for a while, just because poor. Instead, I later got very legal means of playing the game on a very alternate version of what might consider a PS2, and played the wrong version of the game, which was not Final Mix. But
When was that?
Oh, that was like 7th grade. That was like 2 years after. I was a wee boy. Now I've played all the games except for the mobile ones because, oh my god. That includes 358. I don't recommend it, but it's a very great story. And Roxas is my favorite character. I'm basic.
Oh, okay. We got a Roxas stan. All right, awesome. Ace, welcome to the podcast. So the first podcast that we did, it was our, first official Kingdom Hearts anything that we've done on the Mellow stream or just in general, and I thought it went pretty well. We went over, a couple things, particularly like Sora being introduced, his dive to heart moment, which personally I had never even heard of that term. I learned what a dive to heart was, basically an introspection on the character, going into themselves and discovering some things. We were introduced to Kairi and Riku. We talked about that a bit. Definitely a lot of passionate conversations around Kairi, I could say that. And then Sora, just getting basically pulled into this hole that opened up in the sky, and we saw that his whole world kind of collapse. And so that leads us to kind of this new world. It's Traverse Town. We open up with the scene that we have right here. We're introduced to the world, and Kairi, yes. And so, but before we get into it, guys, I wanted to reflect on the last episode. I know we went over a lot. Did you all have any additional thoughts about what we went over? I know there was a lot that we reviewed. And Ace, I don't know if you have anything to add about, I think you rewatched it, but
I watched a little bit of it.
Yeah. Did you guys have any reflections on it that you came away from where it's like, wow, going back over this, there were some things that not that you missed, but something you didn't really acknowledge before?
I had one, and that's when Meta asked me, how is the ghost of white bread anymore
bland soup
and bland soup any more interesting than the bland soup? And instead I yelled because at least she's a ghost, when I should have said at least she was awake for her fucking game. And I've been sitting on that comment ever since.
Just stewing on it.
Oh yeah, her one game, whereas Kairi gets how many?
One.
She is the main driving force in 1, and she is a Keyblade wielder in
Riku is the main driving force in 1.
What?
That's the real romance. You can't change my mind.
Real romance. Okay.
Yeah, Riku's really worried his boyfriend won't get his girlfriend back.
Yeah.
This is devolving already.
Here's the reason I brought Ace in, because he feels the same way about Kairi as I do. I back up.
At least Naminé goes through a story arc.
So we're fans of Naminé, not so much Kairi. Sounds like.
Oh, you could be a fan of Kairi.
I'm not wrong. A fan of Naminé either. It's just Naminé's better.
Well, I mess with Kairi. I think. Well, like getting away from the fact that she's bland as hell, no story. I think as a idea, her character works well with like the two boys and how they're trying to fight for her like approval and going back and forth.
Sure, as a concept, but then we get like tons and tons of things where it's just like, oh yeah, but Riku obviously is well aware that Sora and her are the main driving thing together. Riku just wants Sora to be happy, and then it's revealed that Sora and Riku just care a lot about each other and have almost more of a romance than they do on accident.
What I was gonna say is that you could
Mhm.
replace Kyrie with the last slice of pizza in the box, and the story wouldn't change.
A piece of cardboard.
I need to get that saw back. Riku, you know where it is.
So in this episode, what we want to do is we want to go through Traverse Town to the opening of Wonderland. We're not going any further than Wonderland on this episode. We're just going to cover Traverse Town and kind of dive in on a few things that we're probably going to highlight this episode. So one of those things that I want to bring up is the Keyblade, and we kind of talked about it as a light concept in the first episode, but here we get a little bit more into it, and some of these characters from Final Fantasy that are surrounding Sora, in this tavern room, this inn, are talking about the Keyblade and what it means. I wanted to throw it to you guys with some knowledge, to drop some facts on us about the Keyblade. From my perspective, the Keyblade, especially being, just in the first Kingdom Hearts, just playing in it, you're kind of introduced to this new weapon. You're like, well, why isn't it just a sword? Why can't it just be, just a regular weapon? Why is it so centered around it being a key? And obviously this is a big point because Kingdom Hearts, the whole logos and everything you see has a Keyblade in it. And I don't think we learned too much about the Keyblade until later games. But from this point, what do you guys think about the Keyblade?
Do you want the real answer or the in-game answer?
Probably
Whatever you think.
You should be the obstinate one and ask him if he means the Keyblade or the Keyblade.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, shut up. No,
Keyblade or
I'm
the-
not doing
No,
this one
it's-
right now. No, that is way too far down the line. We're barely in the first one. Let's keep it a little simple.
Shit, we've got 3 wars to talk about if we want to get there.
God, no.
I feel like
Um,
by the time we get to the wars, you and I are gonna have had our own personal war.
It happens.
Probably.
So the Civil War.
I feel as though it is imperative
won't
to
be civil.
mention that the Keyblade itself, for the most part, is implied to not exactly be only damaging things physically. Obviously, it can break stuff, but it's hinted that it's not exactly just cutting things. It is also attacking something in the center of them. That's why it can, affect hearts. This is all implicative and never outright stated, though, so do with that as you will.
Right. As of yet, they've not directly said anything, unless Leon
An
did
over-dramatic
mention-
baseball bat.
Yeah, Leon just kind of noted that. The Keyblade was powerful, right? He didn't specifically say.
It does have the super powerful opening literally any lock, which I feel like is kind of sick and bravely underutilized.
Does he use the line, the ability to unlock anything,
I believe
or was that someone else?
I'm pretty sure he did, but I could be wrong.
If it's not outright stated or said out loud by a character, it's probably in one of the game's reports.
Yeah.
It can do that. I know that's its superpower. Is that
Yeah.
it's a skeleton key, literally.
Yeah.
Um,
So we know that it can damage the Heartless, whereas previously Sora swinging a stick couldn't, and that it can unlock anything.
It
With
yeah,
your
it's also
soul.
I feel like it's kind of important to point out, specifically for this first game, that a lot of the talk of the Keyblade very much kind of makes the one that Sora has feel way more important than it will end up being. Almost like it's like a legendary solo weapon that's like this one weapon will pick somebody, almost like it's fucking Excalibur.
Yeah.
Right. For the entirety of Kingdom Hearts 1, up till like kind of close to the end, you heavily. Man, it's hard to talk about this without saying things.
Oh, I know.
Right?
It's so
Way
tough.
deeper.
That's why I kind of caution myself and wait a hot second. It's tough.
Yeah. But he's right. It does give you the impression that it is something legendary, and while it is legendary, it's not as if it's Excalibur and hey, this sword in the stone will make you king of this nation.
Yeah.
It's it shows him, and that's that. And honestly, you shouldn't read too much further into that for now.
I will say,
Yeah.
to be fair to the Kingdom Key, at very least for the events of Kingdom Hearts 1, it is important. Beyond that, it's a Keyblade.
Okay. So with that conversation, we shift over to another key point before we, we're gonna get into the story from here, but one more concept that I kind of want to go over before we dive is Heartless. We're introduced to specifically some variants of Heartless, and didn't know if you guys wanted to elaborate on that. This is kind of the first time that we're seeing, there's something about this that goes deeper than just being this little shadow on the ground. Mhm.
until we wake up in Traverse Town, I think we only get to see Dark Side and Shadows, right?
Yes.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
no, it's specifically because there is we can talk about it now if you'd like, but it's something that I will be covering once we top off Kingdom Hearts 1 and we start going over the answer reports for this game. So I can touch on it if you'd like, just to kind of give a sneak peek into what that might be, just to get people thinking if you'd like, if that's kind of the vibe you're going for. But
Yeah, give us a sneak peek.
I will be, yeah, I'll go into the deep explanation.
Yeah.
Once we get to the answer.
At this point, we're going to pass it over to our resident storyteller slash lore guide, I guess you could say. Melody, take us away.
Alrighty, so last we left off, Sora had just defeated Darkseid, but this time he was in the real world. Riku had been eaten by Dark Hole, and Kairi force ghosted. And
God, I hate you.
Look, the sooner we just turn this into Star Wars, the easier it is to explain.
He's not wrong.
But yeah, so after that, I think the thing that I missed in the first episode is from there it goes back to Disney Castle after that. And I kind of just lumped both sections into both Disney Castle sections I kind of just lumped into the one that we did in the beginning, but this is where it comes back and we actually see Donald and Goofy leave. And they're arriving. We actually see them arrive in Traverse Town first, after Sora is yanked up and the screen goes black.
Right.
And they step in through the front doors of Traverse Town, and Donald, I believe, is the one to point out that another star has kind of blipped out of existence. And that's what we are seeing in this screenshot here, is that that bright star slowly dimming until it's gone. And that is implied, if not just outright supposed to be, Destiny Island. So the world Sora just came from has been consumed by darkness and has vanished from this realm.
Yeah. So Sora wakes up. We don't see Sora yet. It's Donald and Goofy, right? In Traverse Town, yes, walking side by side. They look up, they see the star disappear, blinks out, and they point up to it. It's something that's small though. I don't think I would ever catch that and be like, oh, that's implied that a world just. But like, what is actually happening there? If we can get into it.
Well, they straight up state it, but you're supposed to connect it to connect it yourself. Mickey's note to Donald and Goofy before they leave says the stars have been going out one at a time, and that Donald and Goofy need to find a key. And then this scene comes after that.
So we kind of know that worlds are at stake here. Mm-hmm.
Right, yeah. They haven't specifically said that the stars are worlds at this point. But, I mean, with Sora, his world, the whole spiel of tied to the darkness, soon to be completely eclipsed, all of the Heartless invading, Sora waking up here, them saying that, it's kind of one of those things that you piece together, or they tell you shortly later in the game.
I think this is really just supposed to be the thing that kickstarts that whole idea, because we know the stars are winking out, but we don't know what they mean, what's going on. We haven't seen any other worlds, but Sora's gets eaten, or we know that Sora's just got fucking black holed, and immediately after they see a star go out, and what gets eaten by black holes? Well, stars. Woo! Not really, but stars become black holes. It's all just meant to be a setup, I think.
Yeah. Do you think Nomura was really digging into the NASA astrology of the whole thing?
Well,
the cosmology.
Absolutely not.
No, I don't think
it's Nomura. Let's not.
Yeah,
I think Nomura is just
Nomura's an excellent director.
Throughout Kingdom Hearts, there's a lot of kind of imagery that has to do with almost a cosmology, but that's right, cosmology.
Yeah,
that's not cosmetology. Where a lot of stuff is equated to things in space. There's a point later on where you're literally running through the clouds in one of the later games. Just stars, night, space. It's very, I'm not going to say important to the story, but it's more of just the framing device that the series likes to pick up a lot. So I think that's why he chose the stars. That, and it's kind of just a horrifying thing to think about. You know, every time you see a star in the night sky that you can't find anymore, someone's home is gone.
Gosh.
Yeah.
It definitely adds some
Did I
stake
say
to
gorsh?
it.
Large.
I'll do it again.
I'll fucking do it again.
Best Goofy in all the world, not gonna lie.
But yeah, from that point, Donald kind of waves Goofy over because he tries to have him by the balls for this entire game. And Pluto is sniffing around and he kind of breaks off from the two and goes down the alley to find our boy just kind of snoozing.
Yeah,
He'd be
he's
snoozing.
he be sleep.
Snoozing, pretty snooze.
He's in a coma.
Nah.
That's it.
The rest of Kingdom Hearts is a dream, which makes perfect sense.
You know
God.
what? You can't joke
Pokemon,
about that because
no,
Sora
don't
sleeps
make those
more
jokes.
than Kyrie.
Given current events in Kingdom Hearts, we can't make those jokes. It'll come out true. Anyway,
Yeah, Sora-
I don't like what you just made me think about.
he. Anywho,
Oh.
Sora wakes
just-
up in Crime Alley. He's awoken by Pluto, giving him big old sloppy doggy kisses.
Yeah, what's Pluto doing there, by the way? Isn't he supposed to be at the kingdom? How do you end up over there?
He just came with Donald and Goofy.
Side job as a drug dog, and Sora's got some stuff on him.
There we
Yeah.
go.
He's sniffing out the
the truth.
key. Key.
Yeah, they call it a key bump. It's crazy, dude.
It is implied that Goofy's able to smell where the Keyblade is, which is
Goofy.
not
Is
Goofy.
it?
Excuse me.
Pluto.
Excuse me, Pluto.
There we go.
Yes,
Is it
because
really?
that's how he finds Oblivion. That's how he finds Sora. That's how he finds Mickey.
Fair enough.
It-
We always
It's
do
never
something
outright
wrong.
stated. It is literally something that you only find out by just being like, why does he keep stumbling off? And it's like, oh, Keyblade wielder. Oh, Keyblade wielder. Oh, okay, I see the theme.
That's
Yeah, that
wild,
could
okay.
also explain how he led them to a very specific area. At the
Yeah.
end of
Have
this game.
never thought about that in my life. That's wild.
It's
Yeah, no.
I know. It's because it's Nomura. I love this
Just
man.
kinda
I
gotta
hate this
guess.
man.
This is your sign. If you're listening to this and you're a Kingdom Hearts fan, go play it again. You'll find new stuff. I promise.
Oh, every time.
And you'll go,
Every time.
no.
You'll either find new stuff, realize you were wrong about certain stuff, or just get mad at other stuff.
Or it's just another chance to experience bland soup, right?
Another
I
jab.
get more and more numb to it every time. Anywho, Pluto wakes him up, barks, does his little doggy spin, and then fucks off. And Sora's like, well, I don't know where I am, but the dog was nice. I guess I'll follow that. And after he goes chasing after Pluto, he steps through these big old double doors into a different district. There's some stuff that happens in between. You talk to some people, but that's not really all that relevant.
Overwhelmed by shadows.
And what?
Overwhelmed by shadows.
Not yet.
Yeah, that's the next thing, because you have to run to Sid Shop.
Oh, you're right. Sorry. I thought you meant like through the double doors.
No, yeah.
Yeah. So
Soon.
you get told that there's monsters and shit around and that you need to stay indoors for a while, but a while just means until you talk to the NPCs.
Hee
And then you go through a door that if you tried to go through previously, Sora would go, but what if there's more in town? And I'm like, you don't need to go to fucking Coachella right now. But you go through the doors and you're immediately put into a cutscene where we see a man running away from we don't know what and is fucking laid out only for his eyes to be glazed over as in horror as a light bursts forth from his chest and his heart floats out and he literally just kind of Thanos dusts away. Gone.
He doesn't feel so good,
He does
Sora.
not feel so good. And a little further back from where he fell down, we see a smaller black hole, very similar to the one that ate Sora's world, that slurps the heart straight into it. It like swirls through it like it's flushing down a toilet. And then as it collapses on itself, out from that front flips presumably another Heartless. But this one looks a bit different than the others. Yeah. So now we've got our second variant of these creatures, but this one is wearing armor and has a very strange symbol chilling out on his chest there. And this is what Mello had brought up earlier about the different variants of Heartless. And the variants that we're talking about aren't necessarily just every time they go through a new enemy type, because you're going to fight hundreds in this game. Like
Yep.
every area has its, like they all have their basics, like the shadows, the soldiers, which by the way is what this one is called. And
And then
they will be
husks.
present in every world, but they also have their own like specific themed Heartless that just kind of blend in with the surroundings, even though they're still jet black ink creatures.
Right.
So
But that symbol on the Heartless's chest is the thing that I want to single out.
so also here that I see, I noticed I put a note here. Not only did the heart disappear, or it went, maybe it didn't disappear, I'm not sure, but it went somewhere. The gentleman also did disappear as well, right?
Yes. So what this moment is showing off. Actually, I'm going to pass this one over to Ace to explain.
All right. So whenever someone loses their heart, their body disappears. The heart typically will go into Kingdom Hearts or will corrupt and become a shadow, like we see. The only difference here is that how the heart is taken out will sometimes alter what it turns into, as well as the power of the heart and how much darkness engulfs it, which is mildly inconsistent with what part matters more than the other. A random, very, very strong person who just loses their heart to shadow will sometimes have a very, very big heartless or a powerful heartless. But some people who are just especially shitty will sometimes also create powerful heartless, just with more darkness accompanying what is a weak heart. That being said, more dark, more heart equals bigger bad guy.
There's definite like outlying situations,
Absolutely.
like someone being coerced into purposefully letting the darkness in without necessarily being a bad person, just because they were told it would give them power or, various reasons, and then them not being able to handle it. It almost feels like there's a wild amount of different situations.
Yeah, this is just the bread and butter amount we'll have information of up until this point, for all intents and purposes.
So as a quick aside, you said something along the lines of a person who's particularly strong could make a powerful heartless, or somebody that's particularly shitty while not being strong in body would.
Strong of heart.
Well, yeah,
Strong
well,
of-
like somebody who's got a lot of willpower would make a strong heartless, or
Right.
somebody who just has a lot of darkness because they're just particularly angry at everything potentially could also make a strong heartless. Would it be?
I'm not
Do we have
mentioning the
any
other part.
examples potentially of like somebody in the latter categories, heartless being a bit more animalistic in nature versus the one that just has the strong willpower, making strong heartless might seem a bit more in control of itself?
We don't have the examples yet, but yeah. At this point in time, we don't have any examples outside of that's just how it works. I was assuming we might just wait until like those examples came up to start mentioning that.
That's fair. It just that seemed kind of thematic on point where like you don't make a heartless out of, because like you said, sometimes if someone's heart's torn out, it doesn't become a heartless. It just goes and stores itself in whatever
Yes.
Kingdom Hearts is.
If it manages to not get consumed by darkness, it will go to Kingdom
Yes.
Hearts and just sort of chill.
And there are feasibly many more than two ways to create a heartless than the ones we just listed, but with those two being kind of like the beginning and end of the spectrum there.
Are we supposed to know what Kingdom Hearts is or where people are going? Okay.
At this point in time,
Fucking
not even a
figuring it
little bit.
out.
Not even a little bit. Okay.
In fact, most of this game, not even kind of.
Mhm.
We just know they're going somewhere.
Yes.
We
Yeah.
know it is
Vaguely-
important and heart-shaped.
And the funniest part is, even at the end of this game, we're still left questioning because of how the game ends and you seeing a different thing than what you've been told it is. You question it for a long time.
And you will continue to question it
We still question
Yeah.
it,
forever.
fuckers.
This is true. It is multiple things on different levels, I suppose, is
Storage, light, dark, the moon.
Yeah. So diving back into it.
Dive to heart?
That last, that last one was the best. The main thing to point out there is the Heartless we just saw has a symbol on it and is a bit more detailed than the ones we've been dealing with, which are just kind of amorphous shadows like we have on screen right now.
Yep.
Is it?
So you don't even actually fight that soldier. It kind of just backflips out of reality.
Right.
Styles on you and bounces.
It shows up, says Ooga Booga, and jumps into the back rooms.
It's dripped out though. It's got some style to it.
Yeah. And after it kind of disappears, Sora is surrounded by Heartless, and you just spend a good amount of time. Or I should say, he does. I need to figure out how I'm presenting this. Sora spends time kind of just wandering around Traverse Town, fighting off Heartless as they just do a lot of stuff. And I don't have it in the notes, but it's like there's like a Scooby-Doo gag happening right now, where every time you go in one door, Donald and Goobert will fucking pop out of another one.
Oh, dude,
in that same
that's
area,
so funny.
And
It's
you have to do that like 6 times.
totally Scooby-Doo. Totally Scooby-Doo.
Yeah. So Sora, after fighting his way around and all these Heartless and stuff, he ends up actually making his way back to where he came from, when he is approached by a man who kind of just walks up and calls him a bitch. Like, I'm not even lying about that.
You got the
rad high
Keyblade?
schooler.
He's like, oh,
What's
you
that?
got the Keyblade?
A rad high schooler.
He shows up and he goes, "Oh God, you're the one. Fucking, I'm just gonna take it then if this is what we had to look forward to." And Sora's like, "What? What the fuck are you talking about?" And he goes, "Never mind," and then draws a fucking revolver sword. And this is who, Meta?
Leon Kennedy,
Oh, okay.
Close.
right?
Sure.
Yeah.
This is Leon.
You almost said
Squallheart,
it.
Lionheart, Squall Leon, Squall Lion.
I'm gonna
Leonhart.
He goes by Leon in this game.
I'm gonna say here that I think it's Yuffie. Yuffie slips up the first time she addresses Leon.
Say Squall.
She does say
Okay.
Squall.
Yes.
Yes, but he kind of corrects her and says like, "It's Leon." And then somewhere Ashley screams. But yeah, so he fucking just decides he's going to beat Sora's ass. And then
That's a good still.
now at this point in the game, Sora is either able to quote unquote defeat Leon, and by that I mean he just kind of pushes him back a little bit, and Leon
Takes a knee.
takes a knee, and Sora goes, "Haha, yeah, look at me, I'm the coolest," and then fucking eats shit just immediately, passes out. Or Leon can very handedly present you
Serve
with
him
your
his ass.
Yes.
No, this is the first time that we're seeing a Final Fantasy character. When you guys played this and you saw Leon or Squall in here, did you guys know who that was already?
I did,
not.
and I lost my fucking mind. I was so ecstatic, and then I found out everything else, and I was so disappointed.
Yeah.
It's cool
but
he's here.
It actually isn't the first time you see a Final Fantasy character, because several of them are on your home island. But we kind of skipped over that.
Oh,
because they are
yes.
pointless.
Yes, and because outside of them having the names, they're almost unrecognizable. I mean, like, they have the
Absolutely.
names and have the hair. They don't have
What
the
do you
clothes.
mean unrecognizable? Waka is the exact same.
You're right. I'm sorry. Can you tell me what Tidus is like in his game and what Tidus is like on the island?
Well, on the island, I treated him like a bitch, and in his game, he's kind of a little bitch.
Okay, damn, you got me. You're right.
Rip.
So yeah, Sora passes out after.
Sorry. Don't mind me.
Why don't we have that in the soundboard?
Oh shit.
But anyway, Leon, Sora do a wacky back and forth, and Sora dies. He's dead. Game over.
Second
Would
pass
have
out.
saved us a lot of trouble, honestly. Mental.
Well,
Yep. And then from this point, we cut to Riku, who is waking up in just a void. He is on a floating rock There are waterfalls flowing backwards all around him. He is confused. He has no idea what the hell's going on. It's almost like he's like he's obviously waking up, but like almost like he doesn't know how he got here. Somewhat implying that maybe he wasn't entirely himself when he beckoned Sora to the darkness.
I would like to derail.
Okay.
Sora getting knocked out and then Riku waking up is a literal, hey Sora, it's my turn to use the brain cell moment. Like they can't both be doing something at once.
You've got
It's Riku's turn.
Okay, hold on. If that were the case, damn it, you give to it.
It is just that concept. We will get to 3D eventually, I
Oh
promise.
no.
Did you not? Was that not the joke you were trying to make?
No, I was literally just trying to make a meme. It's my turn to use the brain cell, dude. I want to do something, but now that you mention it,
we've got a game's worth of that meme being beaten to death.
isn't it amazing how that whole game, an entire, I don't know, a couple dozen hours of gameplay, if you let it be, just amounts to, hey, you're a failure?
Well,
love
it
that.
happens.
Chrissy, wake up. I don't like it.
Oh.
Yeah, so Riku is standing here and calling out for both Kairi and Sora, who obviously don't answer him, and he's just kind of looking around and his shoulders slump. And as the camera pans back, we see someone is standing there watching him, who you definitely will not recognize, because why would you recognize her?
Oops.
Yeah,
Sorry.
we didn't grab a screenshot of that. So Sora wakes up. Turns out he's not dead. Darn. And he sees Kairi standing there telling him to wake up.
He only got cut by Gunblade.
Sora, you fucking idiot. That's not Kairi. That's old sticky fingers Yuffie herself. And she's telling you to wake the fuck up, samurai. It's time to go. And Sora's like, go where?
And I think this is interesting because you see, like, you get sucked up into the world. You only see Sora, and he's interacting in this world, this new world. But then you get to see Riku, and you're like, oh, he's somewhere. He's okay. And then you see Kairi, and she's like, somewhat of a hallucination, but it's implying almost like they're still around. They're just somewhere. Something's happened to them.
Yeah. This is the first time we've seen the trio since the island.
Oh, there is also something I missed, a couple things. And that is when Leon first approaches Sora to call him a bitch, one of the ways he tries to convince Sora to hand over the Keyblade is by saying those things that attacked you will keep coming after you unless you give me that Keyblade. And Sora's like, no, it's mine. And then before we kick back to Sora, who wakes up to see bland soup here, we actually see Donald and Goobert, fucking Dundar and Gobalt, as I have them in the script at this point, are still searching for whatever the key could possibly be that Mickey told them to go after. And they run into a pink stranger who looks very stabbable to me. I don't know why. I just have a feeling.
If you bleached your hair, toned it silver, this would be appropriate.
Are we talking about airbrush?
Got the laugh.
Are we talking about airbrush voice?
Oh my
yes.
God.
We're talking about airbitch voice. I kind of don't want to talk about it if Remake and Rebirth weren't out right now. It'd be a funny joke, but there's potentially people that don't want 7 spoiled.
I feel like it is such an integral part of gaming history and also 25 years old.
Well, I've got a second joke coming,
it
so
is their
it's
fault.
fine. We'll do it then. I don't let it die.
Wow.
Luke's father is who? Snape does what to Dumbledore?
Whoops. Yeah, so Sora realizes he's not speaking to Kairi, he's speaking to a little black-haired ninja girl who introduced herself as Yuffie. And I think this is the point where they actually introduce him as Leon. She tried to say Squall earlier, he tells her to shut up and then fights. And at this point, it shows up and he's just leaning against the wall like a fucking tough-looking biker boy. And she goes, "That's Leon." He's like, like the edgelord he is.
He never rides a bike in his game, only cars.
Yeah, fair enough. But yeah, so Leon and Yuffie explained to Sora that the Heartless were able to find Sora because the Keyblade is kind of attracting them to it. And I think actually, real quick, one thing we did miss with our Heartless explanation, the reason the body disappeared, while that point is more just akin to the process of a Heartless being created, not anything to do with the Heartless itself. A Heartless is a weird misnomer because they are hearts. A person's heart is what turns into a Heartless.
We are left with the basic information that the heart turns into the creature, and then the empty body withers away.
It goes away.
So last episode though, we talked about
it goes away.
We talked about the heart being
a nice farm upstate.
Yeah, somebody's heart, like somebody's being, somebody's soul. So that essence of that person turned into a different thing. Is it still that person?
It still has ties to that person. It is not exactly like, obviously personality wise it is no longer that person,
right?
But it's in this aspect it is the DNA of the person.
In a majority of cases it is not the person. In very rare cases it is to piss me off, but
it retroactively is the person.
Yeah, the reason it's confusing is because they're called Heartless because they don't have a heart because they are the heart.
Oh, that makes sense.
It is lightly implied that if you restored a Heartless, it would probably restore to its person, but we don't have good evidence for that.
And then,
oh yeah, because when Sora beats the shit out of them, they poof into black mist and a little heart floats out of them every time. It's a small detail that I think I mentioned the first episode, but a lot of players I feel like didn't really pay attention to because once you beat an enemy, you stop looking at the enemy. But
yeah,
when you beat a Heartless, it releases the heart. Which is a weird thing to say because how does it release the heart if it is the heart? But don't think about it.
just go with it.
As my foes.
Question for Melody here.
Yes,
on a scale of inebriated to parting the tequila sea, how deep would you have to go before you'd write a script like this on your own?
You mean like what I've already written?
No. I'm talking about this game.
Oh,
like Nomura.
I don't know if I could get there. I'm going to be 100% honest with you.
You think you'd expire from poisoning before you'd get to that point of brain functionality?
Probably because I would not be able to find the juice that he's on.
See, here's the problem. See, as a kid, I would totally write this kind of story. I'd be like, all my favorite characters are here, and Cloud is there, and he fights my OC, and my OC beats him because he's cooler, but they're friends in the end.
Ah, fuck, he's just Superman.
You just ruined all of Kingdom Hearts.
This is an 8th grader's fucking fanfic. Final Fantasy fanfic.
I also would like to ruin Kingdom Hearts for you in a different perspective. And it starts with the Kingdom Key. And realizing that the keys to the kingdom are a religious thing. And that your spirit, your heart, going up to join all the other hearts in the sky is also kind of a religious thing. And it makes you really wonder what is going on.
If it weren't for something that happens in the sequel, I would almost give that credence. I won't say why until it happens, because it's funnier when that happens.
I would say if it weren't for something that happens in 3, an entire huge something that happens in 3.
I would say there's 2 people at the end of 3 that also give credence to my thought here, though.
I'm sorry. All right, let's.
Sorry. Yeah.
You get back to Kingdom Hearts 1.
But yeah, you're right. So, while Sora is speaking with these 2 losers, 2 more losers are speaking to a third person, which is the person they ran into. Yep, there she is in the alleyway. This is Aerith. And keen-eyed viewers might notice that she has 1 fewer hole in her than her last outing. And she explains to Daffy and Scooby that a man named Ansem has been the one that's kind of uncovering the secrets of the Heartless. And they have been trying to find his research notes, but they have been scattered amongst all of the worlds. Damn it. And then we kick back to fucking Yuffie and Leon, who tell Sora his parents are dead. Damn it. What are you going to do? And I think at this point, this is Heartless busts into the room, right?
I gotta grab my charger.
Yeah.
One sec.
Yes, Heartless at this point start busting into both rooms.
Okay. Oh, let's give Mello a moment. Quick, we
Streamer
can talk
down.
about all the stuff now.
Hey guys, it's really sad at the end of Kingdom Hearts 2 when Sora perishes, but it's a really interesting take that we switched to Axel as the main character for the rest of the series. And you know what? I think it's a really brave choice by Nomura. I really appreciate the part where we actually formulate the romance between Axel and Riku as they find that they're not so different, the two of them. He's coming back. I need to stop.
My favorite moment is when Roxas and Axel are sitting on the clock tower, and he looks over and goes, "Did you just take that out of your fucking pocket?"
All right, I'm back. Gotta get my charger.
Oh.
All right, so where do we leave?
Sora's parents are
In a
dead.
panic.
Sora's parents are dead.
Sora's parents are dead.
Like Batman?
Bold
I
fuck.
feel like it is imperative at this point to mention.
italicized.
I feel like it's imperative to mention at this point in this that characters in Kingdom Hearts don't really die. They get swallowed by darkness, which is different because you can't come back from death, even in Kingdom Hearts, when it does become a thing sometimes. But you can come back from being swallowed by darkness. Just means your world has to be restored.
Nope, Sora didn't eat her meatloaf. She died of a broken heart.
Is he cutting out this part?
Which part?
Which part?
Us, right here, since he's AFK.
Oh, I'm here. I'm back.
Oh, I
He's
don't
here.
know.
He's back.
Oh,
That's
No, he's
that's
back.
why I returned.
rip.
But yeah, anyway. They're Heartless busts into both rooms and everyone's like, ah, shit. And for some reason, Leon tells Sora to run like he hasn't just genocided a town's worth of Heartless. And Sora does a run, only to run into more Heartless outside.
It is an intimidating 3 shadows, all right?
Sure, but then you walk outside and there's 7 of them, which you handedly defeat.
Yeah, but they aren't
without
just
breaking a
intimidating.
sweat. Meanwhile, Leon hasn't made it out of the building yet, so you've got to imagine his hands are full while he has Yuffie there to back him up.
He didn't want to babysit.
Whoops.
Oh no, Sora, big danger. Quick, leave. Oh my god, he's gone.
So, after running out, suddenly, from a balcony up above, Donald and Goofy fucking fall on Sora. And Donald looks way too happy about it.
He's a duck,
Every
man.
now
He
and
ain't got a
then-
full range of emotion.
Every now and then I see the fucking faces these characters make, and it reinvigorates just the comedy for me.
The lifeless mask that is Sora's face throughout
Sora.
Kingdom Hearts 1 just
don't
ruins
like-
me.
You don't like Sora's JPEGs?
Look at that right there. Look at that one in that frame right there.
Goofy looks like he just saw a mailman he can fucking hunt down.
Yeah.
Sora is a mannequin there.
There's nothing going on behind those eyes.
And Donald is just flat TV static. So yeah, they land, they fall together, and after standing up, they both kind of look at Sora and go, "It's the fucking key!" And Donald like makes a mess of himself, stumbling over to get to that key. He is absolutely ecstatic to have found out that when Mickey said a key, he meant a key. Go fucking figure. And while they're talking, we get our first actual boss fight, I would argue. I don't count Leon or Darkseid.
Well, since you don't have to win against Leon, and Darkseid is a tutorial, basically. Yeah, I mean, this
Yeah.
is the first one that you lose and have to struggle against
Yes.
your first
so
playthrough.
I would say that this is kind of I don't know, it's either this or the Chameleon, but this is kind of one of the bars of entry for this game, because not only do you have to fight the thing, because it's built like Rayman, it can attack you with as many of its limbs as it wants to. Like they will separate and attack you separately.
Well, it's
And now
not.
you've got to.
It's not the worst thing as long as you block or dodge. Oh wait,
Yeah. Whoops. How much time did you spend fighting Riku?
2 skills you will most likely not have yet.
Yeah. It is a really cool boss fight. I think it'll like swap whether or not its hands or its feet, and it's got feet. When its hands are up there, they'll spin like saw blades. When its feet are up there, it'll like hammer down on you. Fucking
Right.
the torso piece can flip around and turn into a cannon and attach to the legs. It's a pretty good opening boss fight that has a good variety of different, I don't want to say mechanics, but different attack patterns to kind of like let you get used to the combat and the movement. But either way,
the thing that I find interesting with this to me is that you see that Heartless from Shakespeare, like that dude that looked like Shakespeare, his heart, turned into a Heartless that looked a little bit different. And then this is like a continuity of that almost. Like you're seeing this different level of Heartless, whereas you were just seeing these little ant looking things before. Now you're getting this army, like it almost feels like an army. It's more armor, different versions of it. And the symbol on his chest too, is this kind of something different, right?
No, that is the exact same symbol that you saw on the soldier earlier.
Okay.
So yes, I will say that at this point, I will say that you have Heartless, and then pure-blooded Heartless, pure-blooded, quote unquote.
Yep. Are we just gonna go into that? I mean, we obviously aren't gonna go way into it, but
Yeah, we can lightly touch upon it. I will
just
say
the fact that the symbol being on the body makes them the quote unquote pure blood Heartless, and then like
other way around. The ones without the symbol are the pure-blooded.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like
So if they
Shadow
don't
and
have it,
Darkside
they're the the
are
pures.
are
And
fresh
then
from the realm of darkness.
yeah, the symbol on them means that they've been created. They're not the pure blood. Okay. I had that
Yes.
backwards.
So the
Yeah,
symbol
it's
means that
silly.
they are artificial, as he said. But I'm
Yeah,
not going to get
created.
into who made them, why he made them, but suffice
so
to say that these are not naturally occurring creatures, which is why they have more aesthetic to them.
Yep.
Because they were designed rather than, just a blob of sentient darkness coming to life. Shit.
Oh God. Oh Christ.
I had you put this in there with no context. I thought we would talk about it before you put it up. Now it's just creepy. So as you can see, Sora's
here's one of the sweetest moments in the series. Look at it. Doesn't that look sweet to you?
I hate this.
The ah-ha-ha of Kingdom Hearts 1.
Somebody said, "Smile for me."
Where without context it's creepy, and with context it's not much better.
Yeah. So, yeah, they beat up the armor. It does the same thing all the other Heartless does. It poofs into black smoke, and its heart floats off. And afterwards, Sora, Donald, and Goofy finally introduce themselves, and they basically say, "Hey, give us the key." And Sora's like, "No, I want my friends." And then at this point, Leon and Yuffie show back up with Aerith in tow, and kind of they're the ones that pitch the idea that, hey, if you guys go together, maybe you have similar goals that can do the thing. At which point, Donald does the thing that makes me hate Donald for a long time in this series.
Yep.
Which is turn to Goofy and go, well, we only need the key, but I don't want to kill a child. So they agree to let him come with him.
Definitely not exactly how it's said.
But it's
exactly
definitely like we could just, I'm the most powerful magician in the king's court. You're the captain of the guard. We could just shit stomp the child and steal his toy. But we are Disney characters.
I thought the interaction was that them debating whether they'll actually help Sora find his friends.
Yeah, I do recall that as well.
Kind of.
basically just saying we're gonna look for the king and try to fix this,
Well,
but
yes, Goofy.
Are we
need him
really
to
gonna
think.
help him find his friends?
Yeah, Goofy's
No.
the one.
And he's
yeah,
like,
because
"Of
Goofy's the
course
only one
not."
sympathetic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Goofy's a dog. He's a good
Donald's a
boy.
piece of shit, and I hate him. He
Yeah,
does a thing later in the game that's going to make me want to strangle the nearest duck.
Yeah, ducks are made of menace. They're made to chase children after they feed them.
But yeah, so they turn back to him. Donald still can't keep his eyes off Sora's Keyblade. And they reveal that they have a spaceship. And Sora just kind of takes this fucking information in tow. He's just like, cool, let's go.
He has been very mentally sound over the idea of being swallowed by darkness in his world, fighting a giant shadow monster, losing his friends, being in different worlds, meeting literal non-human entities like Donald and Goofy after only ever seeing humans his whole life. I mean, it's very strong-willed, strong sound of mind person, huh?
Granted, he was told by a girl he likes that they can take a raft to go to a whole other world and took that in tow too. I think Sora's just extra stupid.
Let's also point out that she said we could take it and leave our third friend behind.
Oh,
Well,
here we
yeah,
go
but
again.
It's just Harry being silly.
Can't let that go. Yep. Cannot let that go.
Honestly, her saying that is just this game minus some extra steps.
That's
Every
my
time Riku's
point.
given the chance, he goes, I'm gonna go off on my own and do something I shouldn't.
Yeah, but
So,
it's always to save a friend.
I'm just saying. Okay, maybe had Sora and Kairi abandoned him, and him been upset and that bond of friendship been broken, he wouldn't have done all the dumb things he's done.
Or he just would have willingly done bad things later. Now that
Yeah,
he doesn't have
probably.
friends to hold him.
Yeah, it's
Riku's
no more.
the
It
best
would have
character.
happened.
I will not have any slander. Riku.
Riku is the best character to you.
Riku is my favorite character.
I love Riku.
Yeah, I mean, he's a cool character. Yep. Uh-huh.
He's debatably the only one who works for any of the things he gets.
Exactly.
Debatably.
There's no debate.
There's kind of. Sora goes through a lot.
He goes through a lot, but every
kinda
time he
stupid.
does, someone gives him something.
Yeah, I think the point there is that, like any previous God, I can't say things without.
I know, right?
Sora does what's right. He follows the light, and things come to him in the path of light. That's
And
how
he
things
gets
happen.
Harry Pottered throughout the entirety of the series.
Hey! Star Wars, Luke Skywalker, pay attention.
I would say this was more Harry Pottered. The
Oh
only
my
thing Luke was
God.
given was a lightsaber.
No, wait a minute. He's on to something with this Skywalker thing. What if Sora's father ends up being the main villain?
I'll scream a little, but
You didn't eat your mother's dinner.
we told you to come to dinner. You didn't. You went on an adventure.
What are we
You went
having,
on-
Dad? Darkness.
Dad, we had that yesterday.
You can't say darkness without doing the like.
Well, at least we know the heart's true essence.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and that's I mean, that right there is about where it's left off in the script here.
Yeah, I mean, I guess
Bullet points, I guess, more than a script, but
yeah, we can go to this part, yeah, if we want, because we've already.
I feel like that's fair.
Because we do.
It's
say
an in
that we're going
between.
to
I see no
Wonderland.
reason against just talking about what happens after we. Yeah.
Yeah, this
So
is
that-
right
that
before
feels
the
fitting.
prompt. Mm-hmm.
That ended what I have in my notes as part 2, Meet the Travelers, and from here I have it as part 3, just in case you forgot. This is a Disney game, baby. And the scene shifts to this room of amassed figures who you're definitely not going to recognize.
I mean, you've got the screenshot up, and I don't know who those are. I don't know why anyone would know any of the. Look at that one on the right. Like, what even? That's not human. What even would that be?
What
Come
is,
on.
what is
Who's
that, the
this voice?
nine-tailed
Who's
fox
this voice?
standing in that room? What's happening?
Who's this voice? Oh, James Woods?
Oh, this is that place where all of the all of the tailed beasts meet. I forgot. Yeah, I definitely see Shukaku on the left. It makes perfect sense.
But yeah, so they're all kind of amassed here and just marveling at the fact that the Keyblade wielder actually appeared. We weren't ready for this. This wasn't supposed to happen yet. And he beat the guard armor. But luckily, he didn't find the thing. What is the thing? I don't fucking know.
We have
Let
a
me find it.
literal exact same meeting later where they went, oh, but he did find the thing.
Well, he does because you go back there and fight a
Yeah.
purple variant and then
Oh,
find the
gosh.
thing.
It's so silly.
But for this specific encounter with the guard armor, you killed it but didn't do the thing that they were worried that you would do.
This is so silly.
And they just seem very agitated until someone steps forward from the shadows. It's Maleficent!
Oh,
Eyebrows.
a
Eyebrows on
Disney
fleek.
character?
I know, right? And she tells the rest of them to stop being little piss babies and that Sora probably won't make it very far on his journey as he will lose heart along the way.
He's just a kid, right?
He's just a child. He has no idea what he's about to be dealing
He's
with. The
just a
forces that he's gonna be
kid.
facing.
His life is a nightmare.
Yeah, be
Not
prepared
yet.
for heart to
That's
be a motif
3D
of
again.
whoops. His heart to
Aw.
be a motif of just about every conversation every villain espouses for the rest of the series.
Yes.
All right, so that just about ends our part 2 here. I want to appreciate you guys for hopping on, Ace especially being the first time on here. Really appreciate it, bro. Hopefully you can join the next ones that we have coming up. Yeah,
Very good addition.
the next one we're going to be doing is going to be part 3. We'll be going over basically the next 3 worlds that we see and all the way to Traverse Town again, I believe. So we'll be seeing Alice in Wonderland's world, Olympus Coliseum, and we'll also be seeing Tarzan's jungle, the infamous how do you get through this freaking map. So
I feel like between our main line, like, you said we're going from 2 to 3. I feel like in between those big numbers, we should have like a 0.2 or like a chain of review or something,
God,
Oh, you think so?
Yeah.
That's something you think?
they might need their own little section at least. Like they might
Yeah.
dedicate their own, and even that's like glossing over as much as you humanly can.
Are we talking about what are we talking about here? You
Oh,
said
I'm just
in
trying to say
between-
you
I thought
can't.
you were
In betweens of almost every game.
okay. That's so. What you're trying to say is that people might need a way to link their memory of our previous conversations.
Every game that is
Okay.
on the side, quote unquote, heavily quote unquote, is probably gonna need its own entire dedicated little podcast because otherwise it's gonna be even more confusing. And that's
Well, and
cliff
a lot
noting
of-
the whole thing.
Well, and because the side games aren't just brief asides; they are entire games with just as much, if not more, story than the first game. Like
Yep.
for as much
And
as
you-
we've talked about so far, Kingdom Hearts 1 is kind of one of the most streamlined games in this series. Yeah, like yes, it
Yep.
sets up a lot of intrigue, there's a lot of mystery, but it doesn't really hide much from you by the time we get to the end of the game. That is not until we get into Kingdom Hearts 2.
There's not a lot to hide. It's just this game sets the basis for everything that blooms
Yeah.
out. Yeah.
Light versus dark, hearts are special. Sora beat things with his bat.
Light, darkness, darkness, hearts, hearts, hearts.
Dark, light, Keyblade hearts.
So I did have a question, one last question for you guys. There was a part where I think it was Leon, that's his name, right? Leon, we're going with Leon.
Yes.
Was
For
talking
the
to
games, he is Leon, yes.
so he was talking to Sora and he said, let me try and find it. They really want his heart. He wields the Keyblade. So they did say that in here. Is there anything we can talk about why they want Sora's heart?
I don't think it's necessarily that they want Sora's heart as much as they
No.
want. If they manage to turn Sora into a Heartless, one, as a Keyblade wielder, obviously he's something special. So you can either infer that it would make a strong Heartless, or just if they bring him under his control, as the driving thing that could potentially fuck up their plans, they won't
Yeah.
have to worry about that anymore.
Yeah.
But-
So
Mhm.
when they say they want his heart, I do believe it is in the same way that they are going around creating Heartless. They just want control of who he is. Because, yeah, as he said, he's the one that can mess up their plans. He can also possibly further their plans since he has control over the topic they are messing with the Keyblade, right? So it's less so we want his heart physically. and more so we need to control this entity.
Yeah, they will. It seems more like they're trying to corrupt him rather than outright murder him.
Yes.
For the most part.
That makes sense. So that, but they have pre-knowledge, like they know that this Keyblade wielder's out there, right?
Yep.
Before they start whatever
They
they're doing.
know years in advance, and it's well,
Sort of,
one of them.
though.
There's a big,
I would
well,
argue 3 of them.
fair.
Because of those
yes.
villains that are all standing around that table, 3 of them would just kind of faff about and be dicks.
Yep.
While the other 3 actually give you story and talk about their
Honestly,
goals.
I wouldn't even go so far as to say 3. I'd say really only 2 of them know about what's going on, and that's because they're such big threats, while the others are more just in it for their own personal gain.
You've got Yoho, you've got
I have
Snake
James
Man,
Woods, and I have Maleficent.
James Woods is a little on the nose, huh?
James Woods doesn't give a fuck about anything. He's one of the dickheads that's just faffing around. All he cares about is killing.
No,
Boy.
but he knows about what's going on though. Like he knows like how this stuff works.
I'm saying only 3 of them are actually working toward.
Since she's already been
primary
seen,
goal.
let me point out Maleficent specifically. There is a lot going on there to unpack.
Oh, yeah.
So much so that Melody here had to help me realize some things that I hadn't connected. Like it's
Oh my god, there's
massive.
so
talking
much
about the Kingdom
baloney.
Hearts 2 scene that gets revisited?
Yes. The one we talked about. Yeah, it's like Maleficent, for all intents and purposes, is something greater than the king on the chessboard. And all of these guys around the table are like less than a pawn.
Maleficent is near deific in her own bubble. I would say that as far as the Disney worlds and the Disney characters go, because she is still somewhat kept separate, even though she's when the Disney and the Final Fantasy crossover, Maleficent is usually there, but not doing much meddling necessarily. She's usually there just to witness events. And then she's the one that's fucking with the Disney worlds in almost a godlike way.
Yeah. The level of sway, the amount of knowledge she has too. Like she, in multiple aspects, is unbelievably huge in this, which is hilarious for how little the game's actually.
I really hate to say this. She's probably like on par with like Sephiroth.
Oh, absolutely.
It pains me to say that.
Maleficent is one of the most powerful forces in the Kingdom Hearts universe. It is
upsetting.
Almost not even close. Well, sure. But
I never put that together when I was playing the 1 and 2.
Yeah,
like
it's
that she was so
1,
big.
She doesn't get a lot, and 2, she tries to stay on the back line.
Yeah, she does nothing in those games that you really see that matters, honestly.
I would argue that in 2, she really doesn't do anything that matters. Her whole goal in 2 is, damn, I need a new apartment.
Well, in 2, she does do something, but I feel like we need to wait till 2 to actually mention why it's significant.
She does something.
Well,
the one singular big something other than her fucking around and going, let's redecorate someone else's house.
Yes.
It's more in the process of that, though, that I feel like it's big what she does do and that she can do it, but it's not really significant because it's never really drawn attention to.
It is wild how much power she has that she can do things like that and just never really goes anywhere.
How we're talking right now. Because we're just speaking in the vaguest of terms to not spoil anything.
I mean, we could start talking about what's in the box.
Fuck you. It's a head. No.
What's in the box?
All right, y'all.
Third crossover.
I think this is a good segue here. So, yeah, we'll probably be taking a little bit of a hiatus because I think you're on break, Melody, right? You're going to be going out, doing your thing.
We're talking about for what would have been our next one?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm going to have to set out on that one as well.
Smooching bears in the woods.
I will be smooching bears in the woods.
Making fires like outdoor boys.
I sure am.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate every one of you guys for hopping on. Go check out these guys. Melody, Meta are on Twitch. They are streaming. What do you got? What days do you guys stream?
Meta?
I stream almost every day when I can, but I've been sick the last week and a half, so I haven't been. But I'll be back to it very shortly.
And I am every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and occasional Saturday when I'm feeling up to it. But I mainly co-stream with another buddy, the Dead Titan 13, which a lot of you probably already know.
And I know Ace, you're on YouTube.
Yes.
Ooh.
I'm Aceltiel on YouTube, ACELTIEL. Sometimes I hop into Stinkass's stream here and cyberbully him.
That's me.
All right, guys. I'm gonna hop off here. Thank you guys so much. This has been the Guiding Key podcast. If you guys want to check us out on YouTube, we are going to have this uploaded by Monday. And we'll catch you guys on the next one.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Good night.
I'm leaving.